Ben Cohen coming via Skype with us right now. Ben, very good to have you.
Hey, how you doing? Welcome to Vermont.
It's a beautiful state. Used to work in your fine state. Ben, you have a special ice cream. You're a big Bernie backer, and it's called Bernie's Yearning, a special flavor you've made for him. Can you explain what it's all about?
Sure. It's a participatory flavor. You open up the pint lid, and what you see is a huge disc of solid chocolate covers the entire top of the pint. And below that is just plain mint ice cream. And that huge chocolate disc represents the major majority of the financial gains since the end of the recession that have gone to the top 1%. And the way you eat it is you take your soup spoon and you whack that chocolate disc up into a bunch of pieces. Ice cream soften up a bit and mix it around, and there you have it, Bernie's Yearning.
Okay. So you smash up the 1%. Well, you'd be part of that, Ben. You're part of the 1%, right?
I probably am part of the 1%. I still believe in fairness and justice and equality.
And, you know, to be fair to you, you walk the walk. You're not one who just preaches. You're consistent about that. And people who don't like Bernie Sanders, I've covered him since he was mayor of Burlington, Vermont. He sounds the same today as he sounded back then. So whether you like him or not, or whether people like you or not, you're consistent in what you say. He's consistent in what he says. But are you surprised that a lot of people are saying with the passionate support he generates on the stump that he's like Barack Obama was 8 years ago? Does that surprise you?
Well, when you say like Barack Obama in terms of doing better than Hillary, that does not.
No, I think more in terms of getting people to the polls and getting passionate supporters, huge crowds. I mean, in that respect.
Yeah. I think that it's a similar kind of thing. People are tired of the usual political speak, the usual politician who looks at the polls and figures out what they need to say in order to get elected and then says it. They want somebody who's real and authentic and who's saying what they truly believe. And, you know, I mean, I think Americans are angry, and they have a right to be, because the system has been rigged. The average American can't get ahead because the system has been rigged by the politicians who are bought and paid for by wealthy corporations and wealthy individuals, and they're serving the needs of those donors.
But do you think the answer, Ben, do you think the answer to that is to, if there is this gap between the rich and poor, and it's widened under Republican and this Democratic administration alike, is to really go after and tax the rich, and that will forcibly narrow the gap? Is that really the answer?
Well, you know, it's not really taxing the rich. It's closing all these tax loopholes that politicians have given to their donors. I mean,
no, fair enough. But let me ask you, what is a fair top tax rate? When we hear what a fair tax is, now Bernie Sanders has backed off advocating a 90% top tax, but he used to say that. What is a fair top tax rate to Ben Cohen?
Well, I think what people need to understand is that when we talk about a top tax rate, we're talking about a marginal tax rate. You know,
right.
When you raise the top tax rate, it doesn't mean that that rich person is going to pay whatever rate you're going to save.
I understand. But what do you think that marginal rate should be? You're quite right. Very few end up paying at that level. But what do you think it should be?
I don't know. I mean, you know, to be quite frank, I mean, for a person who's wealthy, who's got enough money to meet all their needs, what's the difference what it is? You know, I mean, what am I supposed to do?
Well, it makes a big difference, right? It makes a big difference whether you're paying 40% or 60 or 70%, right?
How many mega yachts are you going to buy?
Well, are you saying that everyone who's in the 1%, they're not all buying mega yachts, or in the 5% mega yachts? So if you leave the mega yacht, the billionaire crowd out of it, what is a fair top rate?
You know, I don't know. I don't know what the right number is. It's a number that allows our country to provide a college education for all those people who deserve to have one, regardless of income. It's a number that allows us to rebuild our infrastructure and create millions of jobs by doing that. It's the number that is needed in order to get America working again for working people.
Well, do you think then the middle class should pay more as well? Bernie Sanders is due. He must have realized that to do a lot of the things you just spoke about, college education, other benefits, that you can't get all that money just zapping the super rich. So he was advocating hiking taxes for the middle class. Now,
well,
he seems to be saying that you can't do that. No, you can't do that just going after the rich. Do you agree with that?
Well, I mean, he's talking about the cap on Social Security. Currently, people that are earning over $250,000 don't pay any taxes, any Social Security taxes, on the money above $250,000.
No, you're right about that, but he was talking a general middle-class tax hike as well. But he did posit it that they would get far more back in benefits from the government and help from the government than what they're paying in. That's debatable depending on who you talk to. But are you okay with that? Because there are a lot of people, Ben, who don't have a great deal of faith in government and how it goes about running and doing things.
Yeah, but what this is in relation to is his universal health care plan. And what it shows is that the homeowner has a net gain, that today you're paying whatever you're paying for your own health insurance. Under this system, you pay a tax that pays for the health insurance, but it's less than what you were currently paying. So you come out ahead.
All right. Then you've had great success. Of course, you sold off the company some time back, but you still have great influence over what the products are and how tasty they are. Does it bother you that so many wealthy people, so many 1%ers love your ice cream?
No, I think anybody can love our ice cream from any political perspective, any income level.
So if you knew that Ted Cruz and Donald Trump were eating your ice cream by the bucket, you would be okay.
I'd say more power to you, and may your life be sweet and happy.
Ben Cohen, thank you very much for taking the time. I enjoyed it.
Good talking to you, Neil.